In observance of St. Lucia's 47th anniversary of independence, St. Lucia National Day Committee, under the patronage of the Consulate General of St. Lucia in New York, presents the second annual Independence Walk. It's happening on Saturday, February 21st from 9 a.m. Location, Prospect Park. Meeting points, Ocean Avenue and Parkside Avenue. Then we walk to the St. Lucian House on number 438 East 49th Street. Wear your national colors with pride as we walk together in honor of our beloved island nation. Packages are only $50, which includes a commemorative t-shirt, flag, bandana, water on the walk, fellowship and refreshments after the walk. To register, email slntc2019@gmail.com or call up 347-528-0589 and 347-701-6572. One nation, one people, one walk.
It's the grand reopening of Sonia's Place, happening Wednesday, December 31st, with our annual Black and White New Year's Eve Party. At 824 Hakima and Rochester. The Black and White New Year's Eve Party starts from 8 p.m. until come be entertained by DJ Sci-Fi. Singles, you pay $60. Couples, it's $100. It's an all-inclusive affair. See you Wednesday, December 31st at 824 Hakima and Rochester for the annual Black and White New Year's Eve Party at the grand reopening of Sonia's Place.
Hi folks, Kelly Indy Smith here, creative artist and founder of the Southern Gem Foundation. Our holiday pledge season is officially on the way here at the Southern Gem Foundation. And what the holiday pledge season is all about is providing our donors and our patrons a special opportunity to give back to the Southern Gem Foundation in a meaningful way. This year, we'd like to spread the holiday cheer to disabled kids. We will be gifting baskets with sensory items, toys, and anything that disabled kids might need in making their holidays a little more special. We invite you to join us in making this initiative a reality. If you would like to donate either items for our baskets or donate monetary funds, please reach out to the Southern Gem Foundation. We are available on all social media platforms, and we could also be reached via WhatsApp at 929-382-0006. If you'd like to make a monetary donation, please zell us at the Southern Gem Foundation at gmail.com. Thank you for your continued support and all that you do, and especially this holiday season as we bring cheer to disabled kids. Thank you again, and thank you for being a gem. Bye.
Young lady on with us, because the thing about Watch Radio and the thing about Peter Giordani, what he loves is people who are contributing to our community, who are contributing to our society. And I'm happy to have this young lady on. She's no stranger to Watch Radio NYC. We've had her on a few times before. And I just want to say good night and welcome to you, Kelly. Welcome to Watch Radio. How are you, young lady?
Hello, thank you again, Peter. Good evening. Thank you for having me. I am doing well. As you know, I've been up since 6 a.m., so I'm a little tired, but nonetheless, I am thankful for being here, and always thank you for the support.
Yeah, I was on at whatever time, and I saw you come on. I was like, wow, on time, starting your vibe. So I just want to tell you, welcome to Bouyon. Welcome. Can you just please tell our audience a little bit about yourself? You've been here a few times, but I'm sure there's some people on the live who probably don't know who you are or wondering who's this young lady. So just share a little bit about yourself with our audience.
Of course. Thank you again for having me. My name is Kelly Indy Smith. I am currently the founder of the Southern Gem Foundation. I I'm also the first Miss St. Lucia USA Independence. I was the queen in 2024. I am a creative artist. I am a leader. I'm a believer. When I bring everything full circle, I'm just trying to be the change I want to see in the world. I have a passion for youth advocacy and for the creative arts. So it's really just merging my talents and helping to spread, positivity and helping to create the change that I want to see in the world. So, in a brief summary, that's who Kelly Indy Smith is.
You know, Kelly Indy Smith just said she's a leader. And I think that's one of the things that stood out to me. I am a leader. And you look at yourself
Yeah.
and you realize I'm not a follower, I'm here to lead. And that is why
Yes.
I guess you started the Salvin Gem Foundation. So tell us a little bit, just briefly tell us what is the Salvin Gem Foundation all about and what is the goal or the aim of your foundation?
Yes. So the Southern Gem Foundation was founded deeply with my belief of, the power of the creative arts to help positively support youth development. So, like I mentioned, I am a creative artist and I've seen what the creative arts has done for me, allowing me to grow into the woman I am today, into like I like to call myself into the lioness I am today. It has been through the creative arts and its transformative power. So for me, it was, kind of not really repackaging that, but making that make sense on a social level and allowing others to get that opportunity for growth and positive youth development. So what we do is, um, have different initiatives, but one of the things we have is a scholarship fund, and we provide scholarships annually to primary, secondary, and college age students. And the other thing we do is that we work with other nonprofit organizations, clubs, persons in the community who are already doing the work, and we help them in their mission of what they're doing. So if we see a club that is already on ground doing positive youth development for the youth, we see them like it's a sports club and they're already doing these things. We ask that club, hey, how can we continue supporting what you already do, and what are the hurdles that you're facing in doing your work? And if they let us know, and it's a goal that we're able to meet, then we go ahead and we rally behind that and we meet that goal. One of the things we're also working on right now is we're donating, in addition to our holiday pledge, we're donating sports uniforms to a sports club back home. And it's because we found out that, the team doesn't have sports club. And most of the persons on the team, who, by the way, were very, very talented, promising athletes, they can't afford uniforms. And then we saw that as something we're able to rally behind. And, we were able to raise funds to do that. And we will be presenting that in January. So, in a nutshell, that's what the Southern Gem Foundation is and a little of what we do.
Thank you so much for that. I want to say good night to everybody who have joined us. Remember, this is an interactive show, so we encourage you guys to be part of the discussion. Feel free if you have something you want to ask Kelly. If there's something you want to talk about, feel free to do so. If there's also maybe a group you feel that needs some help in St. Lucia, feel free to make your suggestions.
Yes.
We want to say, I see Leona, I want to say good night to you. We see quite a few people are on, so we want to say good night to everybody who's on tonight. We want to say welcome,
Yes.
welcome, welcome. And I like the fact that when talking about your foundation, you keep saying we. So tell us, how many people does your foundation comprise of, and what is the kind of the number of persons that are in there? If somebody's interested in probably being part of the movement, being part of what you're about, how can they get involved with the Salvin Gem Foundation?
Yes. I say we not because I love Creole so much, but I say we for honestly, I do think it's a collective. And that's why I always say we. Anytime I catch myself saying I go back to we, because really and truly, it is a collective. It is the dreams of what others want to do. It is the hope that others had. So that when I say we, I'm really calling on everyone, when I say we, that has the same intention of what we are doing. As far as my team goes, I do have a team of 5 persons who make up the Southern Gem team. So persons responsible for helping us with social media, public relations, persons helping us with logistics and also our finances. So we do have an actual team of Southern Gem masters, I like to call them, who are just good at what they do and they come together and we help make things happen. So I do have that. And also we have patrons. So when I say we again, I'm talking about people who first donated in 2024. I'm talking about them. I'm talking about anyone who has ever supported Southern Gem in anything they do. So that's why I say we, because really, like I said, it's a collective. It's not just Kelly doing the work. And like I said earlier in my stream, I'm kind of serving the people who maybe want to be doing stuff like this, but they probably don't have the time. So I'm presenting myself as, if you trust in what we do and you invest in what we doing, it's also you accomplishing that as well. So again, we come together as that collective. And if anyone wants to know how to get involved, social media, you could just send us a message on Facebook at Southern Young Foundation or me directly at Kelly Indy Smith on Facebook.
You know, I want to say some great vibe. I really love it. We're gonna later in the show, we're gonna talk a little bit about about your pledge and your streamer fund that you had today. What I'm
Yes.
trying to do, establish in the first part of the show, is for people to understand what your organization is all about and what is it that you guys
Yes.
focus on. And in that light, I
Mhm.
want to ask you what inspired you to to create the Seven Gem Foundation, and what were the defining moments, or if there were any, in your personal life that sparked that mission?
Mhm. Hmm. I'd say what inspired me was really my personal journey. Like I said, the two pillars of the Southern Gem Foundation is creative arts and youth development. And they kind of feed into each other because in my own personal journey, the creative arts was able to help me positively develop myself as a young person. And even as a young person, always having, I don't want to say an edge, but always having that thing that was kind of different about me because of creative arts. So, like I said, the creative arts very transformative. It helps as a protective factor. It keeps people away from trouble. It keeps persons grounded, and the list goes on and on and on. So that's kind of what the inspiration behind it is seeing the research in my own life and actually seeing the research out there that this works. This is a formula that's been put out there and it works. And putting things together in a way that makes sense to me and then putting it out there for young people, for the community. Um, as far as a defining moment, I will say, Peter, that if anyone knows me, they've known that I've been knocking on this door for a while now. All right. I've been knocking on this door for a while now, and at different points in my life, it probably looked differently. But I was always trying to get to something where I'm positively impacting my community, I'm being a change, and I'm able to just positively impact the youth, make a change, and not wait on, the government and all that other stuff. But I am bringing together a community, bringing together resources, and making that change. So there was never really a defining moment, I will say, because from a young child, I always felt there was something I had to do in this world. But I will say as well, though, that the pageant what did allow people to stop and listen to what I had to say, which gave me a launching pad.
You know, it's a good thing you just brought up the pageant, and I want to ask that question of you because you were the first Miss Saint Lucia USA Independent pageant winner, and then from there that
Mhm.
propelled you to kind of start the work that you're doing, or the wonderful work that you're doing. What do you say to persons who are actually thinking of even getting involved in pageantry, right? And but also have the idea of creating their own platform, or the what would be the I want to ask this question correctly. What you think would be like to push them forward, because a lot of times what happens, right, in situations, we have bright ideas, there are things we want to do, but then we get stumbling blocks as we decide to embark on these journeys, right? And sometimes the stumbling
Mm-hmm.
blocks that we get, they just stop us in our way, and that's it. That's it. We stop, we do nothing else. So I want to ask you, in terms of your journey, because I can tell you, I remember, vividly remember the time when you put that out, when you want to start your foundation, you want to do this, because I interviewed you a few times. So I kind of knew,
Yes.
but one of the things that have really amazed me about you is the fact that you've continued, you've persevered, no matter whatever the obstacles were, you've pushed forward, and today you're stronger for it. So, what are the advice that you'd give to a young person or contestant, maybe in the pageant, that is thinking about that, but then the obstacles that they face? So, tell us. That's kind of a two-part question. Tell us what is one of the main
Mm-hmm.
obstacles that you face when you started the Salvin Gem Foundation, and just kind of give some inspiring words to young persons who are thinking of maybe going down that same route that you have gone.
Mm-hmm. And everything you said is just so true, Peter, as far as pushing through. And I think that's one of the main obstacles I had was pushing through. Pushing through. Because after the pageant and, all the glitz and glums kind of die down and, okay, what's next kind of starts popping into everyone's head. And it's like, all right, everything's done. That's where the work begins. Because now you're on your own. There's no one cheering you on. Your photos have already been up for 2 3 days. People have stopped liking them. The next big thing is in. So that's where the work really started. And the challenge was to just moving, because it was like when I did one thing, I realized, oh, but by the way, this, and I had to tackle that. So it was like constantly putting out fires, I would say, at the beginning, or maybe just putting all my ducks in a row, whatever you want to call it. But it was a lot of work. And I'm not even going to, you know, go anywhere around that. It takes work. It takes a lot of hard work. I remember even trying to launch in July, from February, trying to launch in July. That couple of months was just constantly trying to figure out what I was doing. And even at times being up very, very late, being up past midnight, having to wake up in the morning to go to work. But again, this was what I asked for. This was what I wanted. And I had already said if I were to win, this is what I would do. So it almost starts going into a line of now it gets into your character. Now it gets into, are you going to stand by what you're saying you're doing? And it starts opening up so many different levels for you as a person. So to anyone in that space, whether thinking of doing pageantry or using that platform, I would say to be serious. That's the main thing I would say, is to be serious. Outside of all of it, be serious. Be a woman of your word. Figure it out. Don't give up. And the other thing I say is that you don't always have to have it figured out. I think in the society we are, everyone wants the finished product on social media. They want to see the finished product, but honestly, it's never a finished product. It's always a work in progress. And as you do things, then you realize, okay, like I can do this better the next time. This is something I can not do the next time. And that's what it's been, constantly putting myself out there, growing and learning. So to anyone who wants to do it, be serious about what you're doing. Be serious about yourself. Believe in what you're doing, and don't be afraid to just take that step and continue learning and growing through the process.
It's amazing that, not me challenging age or anything, that somebody as young as you have so much foresight, and so much foresight, but as well as insight. So I really applaud you for just being who you are. You know, when I listen to you, and I know you started the program and say that you're a leader, I see a lot of leadership qualities in you. And I want to say that I think that you a woman to reckon with. You have ideas. You have um, a drive, a special kind of drive, and that's not something that you find in everyone. So I want to say to you, kudos to you. I know, I realize we're having some internet issues, You know, your internet has been on the heavy side of things for the last 12 hours, and tonight it decided on Bouyon. It want to react badly. But that's okay. I'm not giving up, and I know you're not the one who gives up, so I'm expecting you to log on back to us. Your internet has been playing a little bit. You know, I think your internet feel a bit overworked right now because it worked so hard for the last 12 hours, so it's
Yes.
giving trouble.
Yes.
What I want to ask you is, you know, the Sovereign Gem. I've heard about the Sovereign Gem. I think I have and watch radio by extension, as well as SLNDC now that I'm the president of that organization. We've 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 attended pretty much all of the activities that you've had, all of the fundraisers and all of that good stuff. I know what you guys stand for, but for the people who are out there who don't know, kind of tell us, walk us through the mission of the Sovereign Gem Foundation, as well as what are the core values of the Sovereign Gem Foundation. Oops.
Is to create a world where
Kelly,
we
I
are
want to
creating lead.
apologize. I think we knock us off and then we came back on. So if you don't mind starting back the answer to that question, I do apologize for that.
It's okay. So the the mission for us here at the Southern Gem Foundation is to really create a world of leaders, a world where persons can creatively creatively be problem solvers, they're able to be leaders, they're able to use their talents, their natural talents, and maximize it. So for us, we are reaching out to the communities and collaborating. For us, that's the important thing is collaboration. Because if something is already working, you don't need another one of it. We don't need to fix what's not broken. So if we see people, and there already are people on ground who are doing amazing work, who are already working with the youth in certain ways. So really it's about collaborating with those persons, whether those are nonprofit organizations, whether those are individuals who are just personally giving back, whether those are schools even, and allowing them to nurture and to create that generational change for young people. So our mission is really to work with others, would work with other stakeholders, persons in the community, and allow us to foster that change for young people, whatever that looks like. So the unique thing about us is one of the things we have is the scholarship, which will always remain as okay, the scholarship fund for the Southern Gem Foundation. That's very straightforward. The other thing, though, is that we're really about initiatives and looking at projects. So that keeps things fresh, that keeps us on toes, that keeps us wondering, okay, what's next? How can we do something different this? So, one of the things we personally did was a heels walking workshop. That's very different than donating school uniforms to a sports club. But again, it's about collaborating and meeting the need where we see it. And some of the core values that we have, believe it or not, love is one of our core values. Um, Accountability is one of our core values, as well as creativity. So really, it's about creating a space where we are also promoting positivity. We are also promoting a better tomorrow for not just ourselves, not just for now, but generations to come after us. And again, that's what we do. We collab, we spread positivity, and we just meet the need, Peter. Honestly, if I can summarize it, we meet the needs of the
You meet
community.
the needs. And I love that. Let's just say good night to Harriet who have commented. We want to say good night to you, Harriet. We want to say good night to Leona. Guys, again, this is an interactive show. Please feel free to say hi. Again, there are quite a few people on, so feel free to just reach out. I know a number of persons are listening. They want to know what the Southern Gem Foundation is all about. What are they doing? How can we help? And, I want to put a small something at the bottom here in the banner. I wanna share this. I didn't get your okay, Kelly, but I went about doing it myself. Like, sometimes I do. I'm rogue Peter. I do things my way sometimes, and it's not always maybe not always the best, but I have good intentions, so that's what it's about. I'm really happy about what you're doing, and I know we're going to talk a lot about the pledge. I really want to talk about. I really want to spend like the last 20 minutes of this interview or this conversation with you, really talking about the pledge, talking about what inspired you to do this, because when I think about helping persons, I really, really honestly love the fact that the things that you are kind of taking on and doing. I know you have this massive project that you're talking about doing, your community center in Southie, but massive, massive project. It looks like something that looks impossible for just a single
Yes.
little foundation to do.
Yeah.
And I think when I listen to you, it kind of even inspired me to be like, you know what, we'll come on board and help you do this. Whether it means giving you that platform to be able to reach as many people as you can, or whether it means we get to Saltibus and we have to go and start to paint and do things, whatever it is, because I always think that a community, right, could always help. We don't have to wait on the government, and I think that's your same philosophy. You don't have to wait on the authorities to do it. You can start. And a lot of times when you do, what happens is they find a way to jump in and say, let us help. And I think that's kind of the thing that really, is really remarkable about the work that you're doing. When I listen to you, man, you inspire me, if I tell you the truth, because I love that vibe about you and what you want to do and
Thank
what you
you.
stand for. But as you've started the Salvin Gem Foundation, I think you a year plus now. I think you did. What was it? 2023. You did the
Four.
you 20 no
24.
2023. You there was the Miss Saint Lucia USA Independent Pageant. You won that,
It was
and
24.
2024, right?
2024.
2024.
Yes.
And then we had one in
Yes.
2025. That's true. And it's 2026 next year. Okay. And then right after that, that's true. But let me tell you, when you're getting old, you don't remember these things, right? And then you started this, you started your foundation right after. I remember that. I remember the launch of your foundation. I remember that clearly. And since then, you've done a number of things. I remember one of your big accomplishment was to give a scholarship and all of that good stuff that you did at some point. But tell us, how has the community or the people, the society, how have they received what you're doing and your foundation? What's kind of like the feedback that you're getting from persons? Okay, I think we're a bit stuck. So what we'll do
Is it?
as Kelly is, oh, she's back.
Oh no. Yeah, okay. So what I was sharing was one of the things I'm very, very grateful for is the community support. I mean, the community, when persons see me and they start now truly embracing it, that has been one of the highlights for me because it encourages me. Especially, like I said, seeing that people have seen me grown up. I've always been around in the community and people have seen me grown up into what I'm doing now. So it's really nice that I have that kind of support system around me, even if I don't see everyone every day, but just the love I get once I do show up and I'm in that space, nothing can compare to that. And I cannot be more thankful for everyone in the community who continues to show me that love and support. The other thing I will say that not necessarily a challenge, but one of the things I would love is that I'm able to integrate myself more with the community in St. Lucia. I know it's a bit difficult being that we're based here. Me in particular, I'm based here, but just being able to be more connected with persons back home as far as wanting to be more on ground and really feel the vibrance and the need and the energy. The same way I feel the energy here, I would love, love, love to feel that energy when I go home. But that in itself is just as a matter of making more trips, I guess, and just being more intentional when I do make those trips.
Y-
But
You
quite
probably
as an amazing experience with the community supporting.
Yeah, sorry about that, Kelly. I think you're a bit stuck, so that's probably what just happened there a minute ago. But maybe you need to get JetBlue in as a sponsor or something like that, right? So you could make as many trips to St. Lucia
Listen, yes,
as necessary. So maybe if JetBlue
yes,
or somebody who's connected is on the show and hearing that, I think that would be a nice gesture, right? To kind of say, hey, when you want to travel for, we give you five
yes,
free trips for the year to go to St. Lucia, or all you do is pay the taxis or something. I don't know. I'm just saying. So if JetBlue is listening, or somebody
listen,
in the
I'm for
market,
it.
in the marketing, or somebody within the organization is hearing and they can help, we ask them to help. Um, I know you're working on a number of things, but I was speaking to a friend of mine today, and we were talking. Actually, the person asked me about the Southern Gem Foundation, what they were doing, and so on. And the question that was asked, that was put to me, which of course I wasn't in a position to answer because I'm not part of. In as much as I try to help, I'm not part of the Southern Gem Foundation. They asked, but how is it that the Southern Gem Foundation, how do they select the projects that they work on, and how do they select the persons or individuals they want to help? So I think that would be a nice time to kind of answer that question, because I'm sure that person is on listening because they wanted to know what's the criteria. Is there a particular criteria,
Yes,
or is it based on people coming and say stuff? How do you choose? How do you choose?
yes. So it's a bit of both, and I think because we weren't as seasoned, it was more, hey, do you know of any groups we can help out? Hey, do you know of anyone who may need this support? Can you recommend some, teachers who would be willing to put out this information, or principals would be willing to put out this information for scholarships and things like that? So earlier on, that's really what it was. But now we are in the process of trying to streamline it and say, all right, here's a form, and if you'd like to make a request for help, or like a request for project assistance, then you can request that, and then we'll decide as a group. But honestly, if anyone says to me, hey, I have a group that might benefit from this, I bring it to the group, to the Southern Gem team, and that's automatically put on our list. I did have someone reach out to me about creating a space. And again, that's another big project. And I said, I don't think we could do it because we're in the process of our pledge, but that's currently on the list. So that's something we're looking at. Okay, maybe this is something that we look at next year. But again, everything that we kind of get told about, we just go ahead and follow through with it, and we ask, hey, do you need assistance in that way? For the earlier year, which was 2024, which crazy to think that was only last year, I knew my community, I knew what my community needed, and I had one sports club in my community, and that's how I ended up picking to sponsor them. And as far as the scholarships I gave, I used my network. I reached out to all the teachers who taught me and say, "Hi, Miss, does anyone in your class meet this criteria? Can you have them apply for it?" So it was really just using my network and asking like who needs the support. So again, as we grow and we make things better, we are looking to streamline it where persons can now request assistance from the Southern Young Foundation.
Thank you for that. Are there any standout testimonies or milestones you'd like to share? And also, how does the foundation measure the impact or its impact on the society or the community that you help?
Mhm. I think the first year will always hold a special place in my heart, Peter, because I was just amazed at how we were able to do what we were able to do for the first year. So the scholarship that we were able to provide, particularly the scholarship for our college students, we were able to give her $1,000 and she was just so thankful. And what stood out to me with that was that her platform was already about positive youth development. So to me, in a way, I almost saw like I was giving back to myself. I almost saw myself in her, and it was just really a full circle moment. So the testimony aspect of it, just the first year that we started, just seeing all the people we were able to impact. We had 3 scholarships, we had a youth club. So say roughly over 20%, because that youth club has 15% in there. So when we do the math, we were able to impact over 20%. So to me, that stands out really as a testimony. And then how do we measure success? How do we measure success? I mean, people measure success in different ways. For me personally, we measure it as if we are able to follow through on an initiative. So the fact that the first year we said, all right, this is what we wanted to do, we did it. The second year, we're saying, this is what we want to do, we're doing it. That is how we measure success. Because we know after we give what we say we're giving, after we do our part, that the rest is not up to us, that we have done what we can and what we put our mind to give and what's in our capacity to give. So that's how we measure success, is being able to follow through on our initiatives. And that's why even the pink building, my community center, that's something that's really still looking in my mind when I think of it, because I'm like, can we actually pull that off and successfully reach that initiative?
You know, I want to say, and I know, I think you're stuck now again because your internet is a bit tired, and that's okay because if you've worked for 12 straight hours and you're on the 14th hour, you'll be like, yo, I need some rest. We see Rhonda Spencer. We want to say good night to you. Arnold, we see you. We want to say good night to you as well. Sabina Daniel, we see you. We see our Natalie. I see you on. I want to say good night to you. Felix Yad, man. Good night to you, my brother. I see you on. You know, I want to say good night and welcome to everybody who's joined us on this live. What I want to do now is let us talk a little bit about, now it's, I think you're into your second year. Let's talk about the project that I think that's something to me I feel really passionate about. When we talk about children with disability, when we talk about children who, who are not as normal as we are, and sometimes people cast their nose and they do all kind of things, but these are human beings just like us, and they need to have a voice, and they need to be heard, they need to be seen, and they need to be taken care of, right? And that's, I think, one of the reasons why your current initiative is really, really close and dear to me, because I feel like we don't afford these children enough opportunities. And even sometimes the parents of these kids keep them inside and keep them hidden from other persons because of stereotype. So for me, that's kind of one of the things that I think really when I heard about what you wanted to do, I was like, no. I put Watch Radio this and I say we're doing the gem sponsorship, and I said SLNDC we're doing the we did the you have the sparkle, the star, and the gem. Watch Radio was doing the gem, and my other organization SLNDC we're doing the sparkle, right? The sparkle is the sparkle. No, sparkle.
The star. You guys are doing the star.
We're doing the star. We're doing the star. We're doing the star.
Yes.
All right. And that's kind of one of the things I was thinking about. Like helping these children is so important, and especially around the holiday season. So, I want to ask you, what really inspired your team to focus on that aspect, in terms of persons or groups to help? What led you all to, or what brought you all to that decision to help these children?
Yes. And before I answer your question, just would like to say thank you as well for the Watch Radio, for the GEMS pledge, and again for SLNDC for the star. I really appreciate that. We really appreciate
You're
that.
most welcome.
But what inspired, thank you. What inspired this particular project was actually in, I believe it was October, we saw that an educator posted online, actually it was on LinkedIn, and she said she'll be willing She had some campaign going on for persons to donate snacks to her classroom. Because she said, in her experience, the kids usually misbehave and start getting rowdy because they're hungry. So she wants to create like her own kind of in class pantry where kids have access to snacks. And she had a platform, but most of these platforms, they end up charging you a fee once you donate to it. So she had a platform where she could donate. You could donate a certain amount and it will probably get like 2 bags of chips or something like that. So I said to her, hey, can I actually donate you an actual basket? I don't want to donate the funds, but can I actually create a basket for you with healthy snacks and give it to your classroom? And she was more than, willing to accept that. She was so happy about that. And then I just started the process of getting healthy snacks. So I had persons donate healthy snacks. You had some granola bars, some gummies, and just really filling snacks for kids. And I got a basket, I got the little bag, and I took my time and I put it together and then presented it to her. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just dropping it off at the school and just, wishing her good wishes and all of that. And that kind of inspired the want to do a basket drive almost for Christmas. And it was when we spoke about it, we said, all right, let's do like some baskets to kids, to just maybe a classroom, another classroom. And believe it or not, we actually have another basket that's already been sent home for kids in a classroom. It's like for preschoolers, and that's a whole other topic. But we did that, and then inside of me, I still felt like that wasn't enough. Like let's do something more. Let's do more baskets, right? And then I was also having a conversation with someone else about their classroom, and then their needs was, for the special needs kids, and how they really don't have access to certain things. And then that just both of these ideas came to me. I was like, Why not do like a gift basket for disabled kids?" And so our PRO on ground, she went to work, she found the emails and the people that she needed to. I got in contact with them, sent email, and things just started happening. So
Wow,
that's what
great.
inspired. Yeah.
You know what I want to do now, Kelly? I want to play a video.
Mhm.
Um, I want to play a video.
Okay.
So just guys, just bear with us. Please do not log off. Bear with us.
Hi folks, Kelly Indy Smith here, creative artist and founder of the Southern Gem Foundation. Our holiday pledge season is officially on the way here at the Southern Gem Foundation. And what the holiday pledge season is all about is providing our donors and our patrons a special opportunity to give back to the Southern Gem Foundation in a meaningful way. This year, we'd like to spread the holiday cheer to disabled kids. We will be gifting baskets with sensory items, toys, and anything that disabled kids might need in making their holidays a little more special. We invite you to join us in making this initiative a reality. If you would like to donate either items for our baskets or donate monetary funds, please reach out to the Southern Gem Foundation. We are available on all social media platforms, and we could also be reached via WhatsApp at 929-382-0006. If you'd like to make a monetary donation, please zell us at the Southern Gem Foundation at gmail.com. Thank you for your continued support and all that you do, and especially this holiday season as we bring cheer to disabled kids. Thank you again, and thank you for being a gem. Bye.
Thank you for that. So what I want to do now, I want to talk about let's kind of examine the different layers, right, that you have established in terms of the different pledge aspects, right? And my question again is, how did you guys figure out? Okay, let's create. Walk us through that thought process in terms of creating a pledge aspect of it, where you could have just said, donate anything you have and we're good with that. But you created that pledge aspect. Walk us through that process.
So it's one of those things that we learned from last year, right? So last year was very much of a, and again, last year when we started it, it was feeling the Christmas spirit, honestly. It was feeling the holiday spirit, feeling the cheer, and wanting to give back in like a really meaningful way. Like Christmas holiday time is the perfect way to give back. So last year we started it, and it was successful. We were able to, and last year we were down basically from being able to fund our initiatives. So that was where that came into pledge, which was a final opportunity to help us meet our goals. That was what it was about last year. And this year, it was really about looking at what worked last year and building on that. So again, around the same time frame, worked very well. Persons were very inspired to give because you have a whole year of, okay, this is what we were able to do. So persons were able to actually see the progress and see what we are working towards. And this year we just wanted to make it more structured. And the way that we did the pledge and we broke it down into tiers, that was really inspired by how we saw people giving. People literally gave in that way. It was either someone gave us 50, someone gave us 100, or we had persons who gave us those really big $500. And then we just stuck with that formula, like, okay, let's do a suggested tier, because that's what we saw worked last year. And then it just made things a little easier because now we can say, thank you for being a star, thank you for being a sparkle, thank you for being a gem. So that's
All
what
right.
inspired that.
And let's walk through your different tiers, right? I think the first one I have here, I'm gonna put this up. Walk us through your first pledge level.
Yes. So the sparkle is $55 or less. So the sparkle really funds a sensory item. Um, and that sensory item could be stuff like squishy toys, it could be stuff like fidget toys, slime, stuff like that, and some other items like wipes and everyday essentials that would allow us to cover that. And there's also the digital sticker, which persons could use on their social media platforms to just say, hey, I was a pledger for the Southern Gem, and also just recognizing those persons who donate on our platforms as well. So that's what the sparkle is in a nutshell. And the sparkle, like we named it the sparkle because it's like a sparkle is there. It's it's a sparkle. I don't know how else to explain it, Peter, but it's like just a little sparkle enough
A
to give
sparkle
you
is
that
there because
light. But
you add a little something to something, right? Your sparkle, you add in a
yeah,
little
so it gives
life and
you
a
a little
little flavor, a little flamboyance, a little something to right to
yes.
so you're sparkle
There you
because you
go.
add in some
Exactly.
excitement to something. And then you
Yes.
guys have
Yes.
the other level, which is the star. Again, walk us through that.
Yes, I'm not sure if I'm stuck. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, yes. So yeah, so the next tier that we have is the star. And so everything for the sparkle, as far as what we give back to persons who pledge, is included in the star. And the star would just allow us to fund multiple items. If we just do the math as far as cost, it just allows us to put more stuff inside of a basket. And then we also provide the information on the kid that whoever pledged $100 will receive.
Nice.
And again, 10% off merchandise. So we currently do have Southern Young Foundation shirts, we have little tote bags, and we have pens. So 10% off that or any future event. So any fundraiser that we have in the future is going to be 10% off. And again, like I mentioned, all benefits of the Sparkle as well.
Okay, cool. And then we have the last category, which is the gem.
Yes, the gem. I mean, the gem is self-explanatory. That's really a transformative gift. That's really someone going full 100 and saying, I support it and I'm giving the most that I can to you as far as what you've, put out there as a pledge. And this funds multiple baskets. Again, if you do the math, funding multiple baskets, and it will also help with shipping, just because it will already cover more than one basket. So naturally, it will also help cover shipping and handling. And then we do have, a really nice token of appreciation that our team in St. Lucia kind of put together. They went out and found stuff that they thought would really make someone feel like Piece of St. Lucia is with them. So we have that special token of appreciation for anyone in this pledge. And again, all benefits of the previous two tiers are also included in there.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for that. And let me just show the free categories. And of course, you're not limited to just these three. It's not, well, it is the sparkle, the star, and the gem. But any donation, as Kelly has stated before, every donation is welcome. If you think if it's only the $5 you have and you want to help someone and you want to donate the $5, we want you to say, that's what I've got, and we will accept, well, I say we, but meaning her foundation will accept whatever donations that you have. And as we have these listeners on, Kelly, how do they donate and how do they spread the word of not just the Christmas pledge and that's currently going on, but how do they spread the word generally, and how can they donate outside of that particular time?
Can you just repeat that question one more time because I didn't hear the beginning?
No. I was saying that we have quite a few people on, so I was asking how can the listeners donate, and how can they even spread the word as well, but not just during the season, but also moving forward, because you're a charitable organization, non-for-profit. You want your organization to grow. You have a lot of commitments or drive or projects that you want to work on, if that makes sense. Because I know you have this other project that I think, what's the estimate in that project? Is it $100,000? The community center, what is it? 100,000 or more?
I would say it's around that ballpark, yes.
Yeah, it's probably right, maybe even more than that because of the work that need to be done. But
Yes.
how can people generally help?
So particularly with the pledge, like I mentioned, persons could zell us at sgf.donate@gmail.com for the pledge. In general, though, having the conversations about what we are doing and reaching out. I am figuring this out. I know I make it look like I'm a whiz and I probably know everything that I'm doing, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm figuring this out as I go about, and I'm very okay with saying that. So, I mean, if there's someone who maybe has some insight, who maybe has a connection, who maybe has something that is of substance, it's not necessarily monetary, but has something that they can contribute to what we are doing, that I also welcome, and that is a way that persons can help. One of the things I also I've realized even in the short 2 years that we've been is having a space is important. So a physical space. So if persons have event spaces, if persons have physical spaces that they're open to lending out, maybe I want to do a workshop, maybe I want to do a little freeness for the community. I want to do something that I don't have much to give monetary wise, so that person would allow me to use the space and bring value to the community. All of these are ways that people can help. So really, it's just figuring out what is accessible to you, what do you have, and how can we add to each other in what we are already doing.
Thank you so much for that, Kelly. Um, and I want to say to all the grant writers out there, the people that know where you can
Yes,
tap into money, because Kelly is a nonprofit. If you know a means or a way that you can tap into funding to kind of help her achieve the goals of her foundation, please feel free to reach out to her and help her in that way. I think we need to help each other, and
yes,
that's how we succeed. One person is not an island. It takes a group of us to make these possible and happen. And that's why sometimes it really bothers me when people criticize other persons for trying to help and support community
yes,
activity. So I think these are so
yes,
important. Kelly, all good things must come to an end, and so must Bouyon. But I'm not going to leave you here without
yes.
first asking you, what message you'd like to leave with your audience. But I also have some really funny questions I want to ask you for people to get to understand who Kelly is.
Okay.
You know who Kelly Indy Smith is, because when they look at her, they see this young lady who smiles a lot but looks very business and focused and like driven, right? So my last question,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you the fun questions first, and then I'll ask you the question about what message you want to leave out there with the audience. So tell us, what inspires you most?
God.
Hmm? I didn't get that though.
God.
God inspires
God.
you most. Wow. One word to describe
Yeah.
your foundation.
That's a
One word to describe your
uh,
foundation.
I'm thinking ambitious, but I feel like
Ambitious.
there's a better word out there, but that's the first word that came to my head, ambitious.
What's your biggest motivation?
My younger me.
Oh, wow. Favorite quote or life motto?
Be the change that you want to see in the world.
Say that again.
Be the change that you want to see in the world.
Nice. One thing you wish everyone understood about a charity work.
That is life's work.
A good one. Anyway, I want to say, Kelly, it's always a pleasure having you. It's always a pleasure having conversation with you. I find you to be so articulate, such a young, inspiring young lady. Um, just your drive, I think it's something that a lot of people can really learn from and really learn to appreciate. Let me just say hi to John Paul. John Paul, you're in Miami. You're not in Sufret tonight. You're in Miami. Good night to you, my brother. When in all of the interviews I've had with you, and they've been, I think we've had quite a few. Um, I
Yes.
kind of always found you to be very, very strategic, very forward thinking, very someone who thinks a lot outside the box as opposed to just being stereotypical that person boom 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 boom. And I think these are some of the greatest qualities that you have and traits that you have. So I want to say to you to keep doing the things that you're doing, because I think it makes you who you are. And I also want to say, don't let what people say to you, the negativity that they say, don't let that put you down, but use that to even elevate you further and to make you the better version of yourself, and of course the better version of your foundation. Having said all of that, what
Yes.
would you like to leave with our audience tonight?
That any day above ground is a blessing and an opportunity for us to make a change. Life is short. In a blink of an eye, we're gone. And, there's no time to waste your talent. There's no time to waste your time on earth. So, really, it would be to value life and value who you are, and what you bring to humanity, really.
Thank you for sharing that. And what I want to also say, I want to add to that as well, is to value and appreciate the people around you.
Yes.
I want to
Yes.
say that, tonight, we're here having a conversation. Tomorrow, we may be gone. But one of the things I always say to persons is try your best to treat people how you would like to be treated. Try your best to be respectful of persons. Try your best to be empowering rather than cutting down and being negative. Try your best to build us up rather than tearing us down. And these are the
Yes.
things for persons who are listening tonight. I want us to start to practice these things because it's important. It's important that we think about each other. It is important that we take care of each other. it is important that we see to each other's well-being.
Yes.
And I know you had your streamathon. We didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about it tonight, really. I know you accomplished 25% of your set
Yes.
goal. I think I'm not sure if that's how the night ended, but that's
Yes.
pretty much. But I want to say to persons
Yes.
out there
Yes.
listening to you, what she's doing is something remarkable, something amazing. Please, please, please reach out. Pledge something. Pledge something. You know, whether it is the $5 or the $2 you have, and you can help a child,
Yes.
put a smile
Yes.
on that child's face, make a family feel better. Please, please, please,
Mm-hmm.
please help, support. Let us be each other's keeper. Let us be each other's support. Let us be each other's helper. Let us support each other. I want to thank everybody who have joined us tonight on the Bouyon Talk Show. This is our last show in 2025. I shall see you guys in 2026. Kelly, I want to say thank you so much for being part of Bouyon, my last show of 2025. I really
Wow.
do appreciate you. I think you are a remarkable young lady. I love your drive. I just thought you'd
Thank
be in
you.
St. Lucia enjoying with your father, because I know Figaro is in St. Lucia having a ball of a time. I could
He
see all his
is.
videos
Oh
and
my
all his
goodness.
postings.
Yes. Yes.
So I know he's having a ball of a time. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for what you're doing for the community. I want to thank you for what you're doing for underprivileged children. I want to thank you for doing what you're doing for underprivileged persons, not just children, but thinking about, wow, a community center, uplifting that, making it better. You know, and that's where I want to call on all contractors, all persons with a little bit of, if you have 2 cents to help,
Yes.
let us make this thing possible. In 2026, let us make this thing possible. Because when we come together, we are stronger. There is strength in unity.
Yes.
So I just want to encourage everybody. That's my last words for 2025 on the Bouyon Talk Show. I want to say to you guys, I will see you all next year. Once again, Kelly, thank you so much. I want to wish everybody happy holidays.
Thank you so
all
much,
the best.
Peter.
Take
Thank
care. Goodbye and good night. Thank you so, so very much. Bye-bye.
you.